Ladies and gentlemen, this is the illustrious one, and you are watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
This is the walking weapon, Josh Alexander, current, reigning, defending Impact World Champion, and you're watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
Howdy, y'all. This is Mindy Grace, and you're watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
This is Handsome Scott Hansen, charmed, I'm sure, and you are so happy to be watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
This is Nixie XS, and you're watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
What's up, everybody? It is one half of the beautiful people and 7-time women's world champion Angelina Love. And aren't you lucky? You are watching the I-70 Hot Tag.
Hey, I'm Marcus Buff Bagwell, and you are watching the I-70 Hot Tag, baby. Check it out, and remember, no matter what, I'm Buff, and I'm still the stuff. Ha, 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 ha.
And now, CR Media presents the I-70 Hot Tag with your host, Chaos Chase, and the real Josh Elliott.
What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Chase, CR Media. Here for 2 weeks in a row.
Crazy.
I think you said it best. You were like, "What is this? 2023?" Like, this is crazy. But here we are again, me and the real Josh Elliott, welcoming you to episode 85 of the I-70 Hot Tag.
Yes.
Josh, how are you, sir?
I'm great, man. You said it best, man. Like we haven't had back-to-back shows since like September of last year. So we went to a bi-weekly schedule there at the end of 2023, and yeah, it's crazy. It's good to be back.
Then we went on a once every solar eclipse.
Right. Yep. We're back.
Yes. Appreciate everybody joining us, watching. Thank you to everybody watching on, of course, YouTube and Facebook. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button. hit the emoji button or whatever, the emoticon, whatever they call it, because what it does is it lets Facebook and YouTube know that you guys like watching this show. So they'll push out to other people. And then huge shout out to everybody watching on Twitter. I've told you 100 times, Josh, I will never, ever fucking call it X. It will always be Twitter to me. So everybody watching on Twitter, appreciate that. Well, we pulled in some great numbers last week on there. So figured we would do it again this week. So again, like I said, if you guys aren't, follow the I-70 hot tag. Josh, I'll let you sprinkle in a little bit there, and then we'll kind of get in.
Oh yeah, you said it. We're here on we got YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, TikTok. Obviously, just like our live shows, a little bit less active as we have been in previous years, but yeah, that's the I-70 hot tag. You can follow me at The Real Josh Elliott on the same platforms, CR Media as well, which is your boy Chase. I'm sorry if you're in the seats. You know what? I was wondering why we got upcharged for the seats last event. What the hell?
Yeah. And they smelled like cigarettes and nickels. You might want to get that checked out with your doctor, Sonny Money. Josh, anything else?
No, just we want to before
shout out to our guest last week, Billy McNeil.
Billy McNeil, yeah. Gotta update that. Shout out to two main sponsors of the I-70 hot tag and of Fountain City Pro, Guys Snacks and American Body Company. So go check them out. Both main huge sponsors for us on both platforms. So
yeah, American Body Company is actually sponsoring Fountain City Pro's main event throughout 2024, which is awesome. They are the main reason they are doing that sponsor, not only to show us love and support, but also they are hiring. They are looking for a mechanic, correct?
Yeah, body mechanic, paint, basically anything that has to do with heavy duty mechanic work. They're looking for
absolutely. And Josh knows how hard it is to try and find a mechanic in the Kansas City metro area. So and then Guys Snacks, what can you not say about Guys? Huge shout out to them, because last Friday they came out, sat front row, and took a lot of pictures, got a lot of content, got a lot of great content from everybody, obviously with the bags of chips and everything. So we even saw a spot in the match, and we'll kind of get to that later when we break down, where somebody got dropped on chips like they were thumbtacks. It was fantastic. So
pretty hardcore.
Absolutely. If you guys have missed any of the I-70 hot tag episodes, give up, quit, don't regain any hope. There will never ever be another podcast episode of the I-70 hot tag. It's just not going to happen. I know I said 2025 is now approaching very quickly. It's never going to happen. We're never, ever doing another podcast episode ever again. So if you guys want to watch previous episodes of the hot tag, you need to do it on YouTube, and that's it. I apologize. It is what it is. Add that to the list of people I've disappointed in the past few days. So along with my kids and my wife.
There you
go. Josh, tradition. I always let you introduce the guest. Tonight is going to be no different, sir. Take it away, if you will.
Let's do it. Tonight's guest, our first guest in quite a long time. He debuted a new tag team back in March called OnlyFriends with Stormy Renee. He's had a great singles run across Oklahoma. He frequents Heartland Championship Wrestling, XWE in Kansas. And we are lucky to have him here on the I-70 hot tag. Let's introduce our guest tonight. Spotlight, Logan Knight.
What's up?
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I was rocking out to that music. You guys got me some already good like default entrance music.
Yep.
I know. We can't use anything official because we'll get taken off because of YouTube and it sucks and whatnot. But I also want to point out that when the entrance video was playing, like all the wrestlers that would come on and be like Josh Alexander, where he's like, it's the Impact Heavyweight Champion, Josh Alexander. Logan was like, hey. So sorry, I didn't. I thought about it. I was like, man, I'll probably keep that to myself. And then I was like, no, because you did it several times. If you'd have just done it to one, but you did it to everybody, you popped real big when you saw it was Angelina Love. You were like, hey.
I was telling myself, I was like, I always wanted to be in the beautiful people.
So let me ask you something. What is your relationship with Tony Lee Mashburn?
Oh God, my relationship with Tony. Tony is a cool dude. He is a professional wrestler in Oklahoma, but I can't tell you who because he's under a mask. So
okay.
Yeah, no, he's a cool dude. He's a lanky bastard. I'll tell you that much. He's a former tag team partner of Blade too. That's fun.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. He very first joined the hot tag during our interview with Red James, and he just I don't know what it is about people from Oklahoma, man. He just got on my nerves real quick.
Yeah, he's a heckler, sure.
But if Logan says he's cool,
it's out of good fun. He's just trying to get some laughs out.
Oh yeah, he does a good job of it too. So Logan, it's been a while since we've done this, but I'll ask this question. It's the same question I ask every single guest. I want you to tell us and the people watching, who is the Spotlight Logan Knight?
Man, yeah, that's always a question I get asked on podcasts, and I feel like the answer always changes a little bit, but it's like mostly the same. My character isn't too far off from who I really am, honestly. It's just like everybody tells you, if you can't figure out a character, just be yourself and blow it up to 10 or 11, however far up you want to go with it. But I'm not going to keep it a secret. I mean, I was bullied and not given attention in my childhood. I was in a very populated part of Oklahoma. I mean, I went to school with a graduating class of 700, so there was plenty of us. I used to get bullied for liking wrestling, wearing wrestling shirts to school, and I was never, the popular kid, but I was always still in drama or playing sports, so it didn't really make a lot of sense to me. And I think when I started wrestling, obviously the first couple of years, I was having some identity issues and, trouble figuring out who I was. And it kind of dawned on me that, a lot of my favorite wrestlers are guys that kind of play into the whole spotlight gimmick, like Ric Flair, The Miz, Shawn Michaels, Dolph Ziggler. Those are some of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And they've always got that Hollywood sort of flamboyance to them. So I would like to say my character came about from wanting to take a different direction of what life had handed me before. The Spotlight character is more of all eyes on me, the attention's on me, now that I'm this big badass professional wrestler, I'm gonna put a whole new spin, a whole new spotlight on things and, take it from there, make things better. And it's worked out a lot, I would say, but the new thing I'm doing with Stormy, where it's really a lot of fun, and I don't have to be such a jerk with it, and it's a good change up from the normal cockiness. But I would say the character it's just been an embodiment of what I would have liked to have been when I was a kid.
Yeah, we've seen you across, we've been to a couple HCW shows. We've kind of seen you, grow as a talent in the ring. We've always been a big fan of yours. And you said you grew up in Oklahoma and I'm assuming got your start in Oklahoma. Tell us like how'd you get your training and kind of how did you first break into the business and to become a wrestler?
Yeah, my break-in story is kind of a little carny, so it's always like fun to talk about. When I first started finding out about like independent wrestling, like the best way I can put it is I didn't know Ring of Honor was independent wrestling, and I had been watching TNA and Ring of Honor and WWE and stuff like that, and I had known about New Japan. So I just didn't really understand that there were like local shows happening and like actual independent wrestling. And I had found a flyer back in like 2018 for Mid-South Wrestling in Oklahoma City. And I went to a show and I was immediately completely enamored. I was 18 in college, so I had complete freedom to basically do whatever I wanted. So I was like, yeah, this is like what I want to do. I stuck around after the show and kind of just like stared in amazement at the ring and like watched the guys kind of tear down and everything. And at that point, Prince Mahali, who used to be a wrestler in this area, came up to me and asked me if I wanted to be a professional wrestler. And my obvious answer was yes. There was no no's or let me think about it or any of that. It was immediately yes. What do I need to do? How much money do I need to throw at whoever, like that kind of thing. He got me in touch with the promoter for Mid-South, who isn't around anymore. But he told me I was going to be trained by Drake Gallows and I needed to pay for X amount of months of training up front. And so I did, and I would show up to the shows and try to get training. But I guess the message wasn't relayed to Drake or the rest of the boys. And so it's kind of just like dudes like showing me how to do stuff for about 30 minutes before a show and then fucking off essentially and being security for the show. And while I'm very grateful for that opportunity, it was very obviously just some dudes trying to get like, security or ring hand work out of a kid that doesn't know any better. And that's perfectly fine. All of us have been there. And a lot of us are probably still there. And a lot of us are probably still going to do it again. So it's really not that big of a deal. At that point, I had decided that I wanted to be a little more serious and find actual training. And I tried to get trained at Empire Pro, which is my now home in Oklahoma City, I would say. Their starting training class was me, Malachi, and Danny B, who is now NWA Women's Tag Champion with her partner. I can't remember her name, but she's doing great. And I would like to think all of us are doing great. And their training facility closed down. So I was training there for about 2 or 3 weeks and their training facility closed down. So that made me have to find a third training school within like a month or two of getting screwed out of probably like $400 or $500 at this point. And it was a journey, but I ended up, oh yeah. I ended up finding Brandon Groom in Bristow and he trained me for a little bit. He is a really good dude. He runs a show out in Bristow called BPW. I trained there for about 8 months and learned a lot of like really like to the mat ring training kind of thing because he was a shoot wrestler, wrestled in college and stuff like that. He ended up actually going to FCW, Florida Championship Wrestling with Cena and a bunch of those guys around that time. So I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely the trainer I need, a guy with like a credible source. And he's been there and he's actually, doing the stuff. And so he trained me for a little bit, but I was living probably about 1.5 to 2 hours away from Bristow at this point. So I was traveling, I would say 3 hours twice a week for training for half a year, a little bit more than half a year. And that just was, it was terrible. Like the drives now, I get it, and they're nothing to me. But like when I was training, it's like it was too much. When that started happening, though, Drake eventually felt bad that he was supposed to be the person originally training me because he didn't know in the first place, and he eventually took me under his wing and basically was training me at shows the way it was supposed to happen originally. And he opened UWO up shortly after, so he trained me and got done with my training and then opened up a school. So technically I'm not a UWO dojo graduate, but I always claim to be the OG. And that's a bit of my background.
Before there was a UWO dojo.
Yeah.
I didn't know Drake owned UWO or started it.
Yeah. Him and Ricky Wingrave, they are both co-owners at UWO, and they've done a fantastic job. Ricky's always been here for me since I first started. He was, doing ring hand stuff with me at the same time. So I've grown personally close with Ricky, and obviously with Drake as well. I mean, Drake's the only reason I was even in Kansas in the first place, and honestly, I have Drake to thank for everything now, because now I have Fountain City Pro, and now I have the rest of Kansas, and I have Billy Simmons and the rest of my family up in Kansas, and it's delightful what wrestling can bring.
Hell yeah. So speaking of your time in Oklahoma, you were Oklahoma Male Wrestler of the Year last year, which was dope. Talk to us about winning that and about the Oklahoma scene in general. Because I know we've kind of touched on it a little bit, you and I personally, but I would love to kind of just, the section you work, and then maybe the other sections that you know about.
Yeah. So I do it all in Oklahoma, man. If there's a wrestling company that is in Oklahoma, I've wrestled for them, and I'm proud about it, honestly. Like everyone always tries to tell you to, get out of Oklahoma as fast as you can. Like it's a disaster, and it's like, yeah, that may be true, but everywhere's a disaster, and I enjoy Oklahoma a lot. It's my home. So obviously I'm going to want to feel some sort of pride and want to build it up and that kind of thing. Winning Oklahoma Wrestler of the Year, I'm not even going to front. I'm going to be a little mark from day one, from the very first day that I started wrestling, from the very first day that I found out that those awards existed. I wanted to win it. I'm going to be completely honest. It's just one of those things that I wanted to do because it's a fan award. And in my eyes, that's who we're wrestling for. That's who we're performing for. And I want to know what the fans think. I want to know their feedback on the product that they're consuming. And, if people are the worst or the best, or, the oh my God moment of the year, it's like that should mean something to people at the end of the day, because those are the people that consume your product. Their opinion should mean the most. And in Oklahoma, there's a top 50 list that is rather biased and isn't actually for the fans. But then the vote, which the Male Wrestler of the Year award, that is a vote. The vote is for the fans, and it's not rigged or anything like that. So it made me feel a lot of pride, because in one half of the state, I'm a good guy, and in one half of the state, I'm a bad guy. And, it's funny to see, as a conglomerate, they all came together and were like, yeah, this is the guy. When there's so many other great talents in Oklahoma, like Mr. Nasty, Sam Stackhouse, you got so many good wrestlers out here. Luke Langley wrestles in Oklahoma, Tommy Dean. There's so many good wrestlers here. And when I first started wrestling, I actually made a top 10 list of guys who I thought were the best and that I wanted to wrestle before God knows what happened. I get famous, they get famous. One of us dies. One of us gets too hurt to wrestle. Just something that would keep us from wrestling each other. That I had a top 10 list for that. And I actually got to complete the final person. That's a lie. There is one person left, but I got to complete most of it. And a lot of those guys are still around. And there's just so many great talent in Oklahoma that may not necessarily get the spotlight that they deserve, because people are too busy in the fact of old drama or drama that could be with Oklahoma, and not actually looking at the product or the talent that's there. They're just always so worried about, what are we going to see about Oklahoma on social media today? It's like, you're probably going to see something. Just like if you woke up the next day and you're like, what am I going to see about Texas today? You're probably going to see something about Texas. It's just a matter of perspective. And I feel like if people just kind of take the time to look at all the great promotions in Oklahoma right now, like UWO is fantastic for up and coming wrestlers, for trainees, and for, older guys, 10, 15, 20-year guys to start working with greener kids. And that's a good promotion for that. Core has one of the best setups in Oklahoma. WFC has the best setup in Oklahoma, and they constantly are giving back to kids with illnesses, life-threatening illnesses, every single show. And, it's hard to beat promotions like that. We got promotions raising money for children with cancer every single month and putting on badass shows with talent like Scotty, Too Hottie, JTG, all these guys, and people just ignore it. It's insane. I think Oklahoma's on the up, though. Oklahoma is sure to be on the up, especially if I can get OSAC off of crack. That would be fantastic.
I was literally just about to lean into that, because like, and it's crazy, Logan, for all the reasons that you talked about, like Oklahoma and the Oklahoma wrestling scene. You know, Josh and I kind of felt the same way about the Kansas City scene. So why we started this, and then, you know, and then it leading into Fountain City. And you know, one of the things that we talked about wanting to kind of like help is the Athletic Commission in Missouri. Just definitely not for the same reasons that you're doing yours, and we'll get into that. But, you know, the Athletic Commission in Missouri they go based off of, they still treat wrestling like it's an extreme sport, and they're the only government agency that gets paid only in cash. You cannot pay them with a check or a credit card. You know, and all these things. So, and that was what led into, you know, Josh and I doing Fountain City, and then this show. Talk to us about how your time in Oklahoma and everything that you've described and the reasons why you love the wrestling scene in Oklahoma has made you, plus the obvious reasons, has made you look at the Athletic Commission in Oklahoma as well.
I mean, a lot of my main reason of wanting to, you know, get this stuff changed with OSAC is just like, it's just, when you think about it for 2 seconds as a person, not even just like a wrestler or a government entity or anything like that. If you think about the fact that we can't wrestle inanimate objects, like with your brain, just as a person, that is ridiculous. Like it's illegal to wrestle inanimate objects. Like it just doesn't make any sense. Anytime they present a rule or a violation to us, it makes no sense logistically, just like thinking about it like a normal person. And, you know, it just sucks, because a big thing that is a part of Oklahoma wrestling is that we have some great women's talent, but we don't have a lot of women's talent. And so for the last 3 or 4 years, 5 years, 6 years now, you've had the same women's matchups, making it really stale, or just making it to where the women can't really compete here in general. Like, you know, Stormy and Skylar have wrestled each other a million times. Nova and Skylar have wrestled each other a million times. And there's nothing wrong with that. I like all their matches, and I think all of them are great performers. It's just like, when we put limitations on intergender wrestling and transgender wrestling and stuff like that, it makes it really difficult to give these women reps and, you know, experience with people that could teach them stuff, you know, close to home, and not have to travel coast to coast just to be able to wrestle another woman. And that's one of the reasons. It just opens up so many different storytelling and match opportunities for people. And on top of that, I just don't like the government being in our pockets for any reason, really. And this one doesn't make any sense to me, so I'm especially hateful about it. I'm also especially hateful because the only person that has a violation regarding intergender wrestling in Oklahoma right now is my trainer and my tag team partner. So that is pissing me off a ton. And I want things to get better. I think all the heat they've gotten from the media nationally and just like personally, and all the phone calls and emails they've received because I'm a little blabbermouth on Twitter, they are looking to change the rules in July 10th. And I'm hoping we can make that happen. I'm going to be there. Richard Bedford, the other guy that's involved with the Native American side of this fight, is going to be there too. So fingers crossed that OSAC will, you know, hop off the meat for a little bit, but you know, they can always just continue to be awful, and we got to be prepared for that.
Right.
Yeah, man. I like I said, just wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of talk about that and explain that to everybody. And so, yeah, because things like Twitter and other platforms like that give us opportunities to go up against government agencies like that. So,
yeah. So I wanted to switch gears a little bit
100% too, because a lot of people around here,
Sorry, it was just the delay. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, sorry, I'm lagging a little bit. I was just gonna say, like it's especially important too because everyone around here has like some sort of boogeyman mentality with OSAC. They think that they're unbeatable and no change can happen. And I've had people say, why don't you just like worry about getting bookings out of state and like worry about yourself and don't care about this. It's gonna be so much easier if you just like let this be in your rearview mirror. And that may be true. I mean, I'm traveling my ass off, so like I guess in a way it's true, but at the same time, I'm still here. I'm still wrestling in Oklahoma. I'm still doing my best that I can to make this a better place. And I don't think what people understand is that, like, yeah, sure, leaving makes it easy for me, but it's not going to make it any easier for the next batch of people that are coming in. And while I'm actively training the next batch of people in UWO in Oklahoma City, it becomes sort of like a dunce cap if I wasn't to try and fight this stuff and make it better. I just wish other people felt the same. There's so many great talent in this state that have the opinion of fuck them, just get out of Oklahoma. And that's just definitely not the route to take. We got to do better. We all got to do better. And, nothing's going to change in Oklahoma if we let them continue to be the same. Nobody has challenged Oklahoma State Athletic Commission in court in the last 20 years since its inception, except for Richard Bedford in April, and he beat them. So the only time they've ever been taken to court, they've been beaten. That proves that they're not the boogeyman, and that also proves that everyone has just been too scared to do anything. So if we can just rally together while there's momentum, it'll be okay.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. Shout out Scott Tyler. Appreciate you joining in, sir. Drinking at Moe's says, keep kicking ass, Logan. Was a pleasure having you on my show. So you were on Drinking with Moe's recently. Is he frozen?
He might be. Or he might be in awe. That's what it is. He's like in awe. He's like, man, I can't believe Drinking at Moe's remembers me. All right. He's not frozen anymore.
He's back. No, I wanted to ask you about the match you had at BCW against Mike Caldwell, and specifically the phenomenal promo that you cut.
Yeah, so I have been having some issues with Mike for a while now. I first joined BCW Texas, I want to say January of 2023, and he is the I want to say director, chief operating officer, whatever you want to say. He's the GM guy. He's the Teddy Long there, and he had just been making my life a living hell, making me wrestle 2 times a night against top stars in West Texas and, changing official rulings. So every time I won, no, I didn't. I lost, and making me restart matches and all that good jazz. And I eventually got sick of it, man. I'm traveling 600 miles there and 600 miles back, 14 hours round trip just for, some old has-been to change all the direction of my matches and change the decisions just because he's a little bit jealous. Mike used to wrestle here in Oklahoma. He used to wrestle in West Texas. I think I think he got too much in his head. He realized that I was doing everything that he wanted to do when he was around, and he didn't get to. And I'm doing it way better, and he just couldn't stand that and wanted to, come out of retirement and put himself at risk even further because he's had upward of 10 concussions. He's got a few fused discs in his spine, and I guess that wasn't enough to keep him away. And I had to put the dog down for good, so to say. But the promo, on the other hand, that was a lot of fun. I went to Dallas and went to Corey Snelson's studio. He is a great videographer. He does a lot of DFW, MPX's guys, their stuff. He's even done some TV work. I think he did one of Lance Archer's AEW promos. So he's done a lot of great stuff, and I always like working with him. That was like my 3rd promo I've done with him, and he just kills it every time. He knows the direction of where I'm trying to go without me saying too much, and he can tell on my face when I think I need something needs to get reshot. He's like the promo whisperer. He knows what's going on.
That's awesome.
I fucking dug it, man. The camera, the lighting, it was awesome.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Yeah, no, it definitely was worth the investment. I'll say that much.
What's up, Matt Stockdale? Before you ask your question, Chase, I was going through your Facebook and I saw a graphic you posted, kind of advertising yourself, your accolades and everything else. We always like to highlight these and kind of get other wrestlers' perspectives. On there you said there was an extra spot you had with WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of talk to us about how that came about, how you got your WWE, and kind of what you did for them when you were there.
That was a lot of fun. So I had gotten the connection to Gabe Sapolsky through Jerry Bostic, who used to run in Kansas for World Class, and he basically made a stipulation with me. He was like, "Hey man, show me you really care about this. Show me you're really dedicated, and like hit the gym a little bit. Show me mentally and physically that you're like, this is something that you want, and I'll give you the hookup." And so I did, not as much as I'm grinding now. I mean, if Jerry was still around and he saw me right now, he'd be like, "Damn kid, here's some opportunities for you." But no, he gave me the hookup to Gabe Sapolsky, and I got booked as an extra for the January event in 2023 in Tulsa. And that was it was such a fantastic time. I can't even describe it. Like, yes, catering's as good as everybody says catering is. It's fantastic. I was a kid in a candy shop. It was something I won't forget. Another few things that I won't forget is that I'll start this off by saying that Edge is one of my all-time favorite wrestlers. Like any interview you see of me where someone gives the "who's your favorite wrestler," every podcast does that. Edge is one of those answers. It's always like Ric Flair, AJ Styles, Edge, or The Miz. It's Shawn Michaels. That's like the interchangeable top five. But I got to do a pull apart segment for Edge and the Judgment Day, and kind of just be in Gorilla and listen to Edge talk. And honestly, like, they couldn't have known. There's no way they knew. And it was just a sleight of hand. Hey, you three security guards look like each other. We need you for security, and you're gonna be with Adam. And I was like, are you fucking serious? Like what are the odds of that? But while that was good, that wasn't the most important thing that happened for me that night, or the best thing, so to say. I would say the best thing that happened to me that night was we were required to wait in Gorilla quite a decent amount of time before our segment, just to make sure we were there and not being stupid, because the pull apart segment kicked off the show essentially. And before Raw, they film what's that like quick show they film now, Main Event or Speed, or it was whatever Speed was in January of 2023, so it was probably Main Event.
Yeah.
Akira Tozawa and Tony D'Angelo had just had a quick little 5 to 6 minute match, and for people who are wanting to try out for TV, that time frame is super common, and you got to learn how to put on good like storytelling or motive telling 5 to 6 minute matches. And a lot of people in wrestling are probably like, how am I supposed to do that? And I got to watch Akira and Tony D'Angelo do that. And when they got to the back, it was the first week that William Regal was back with WWE and gone from AEW. He had just done the pay-per-view with MJF, that whole breakup storyline. So this is the first week he was back. I got to listen to some advice from him pretty earlier on in the night. And then I got to listen to him break down Tony D'Angelo and Akira Tozawa's 5 to 6 minute little TV match for about 30 minutes. Just gave them advice on advice on advice. And it really stuck with me because the main event that night was Finn Balor versus Cody Rhodes, and banger. However, I'm more likely to be in a position of Tony D'Angelo or Akira Tozawa than I am of Finn Balor or Cody Rhodes at this moment in my career. So the information of watching Regal break that match down versus the main event, I think helped me tenfold turn into a different person and different wrestler that night.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. So you've spent a lot of time in both HCW and XWE in Kansas.
Yeah.
Talk to us about what it's like to work for somebody like Billy Simmons and how your future in Kansas is looking.
Man, I always want to say my future is looking bright, but that's the tagline. So, no, but I do think my future in Kansas is bright. I think my future in wrestling as a whole is pretty bright. I'm always progressing, I think, and I'm trying my best to get better in every way. I would say that Kansas has helped me do that way faster than I probably would have if I hadn't come here. And I had only came here on dumb luck. I wasn't doing anything one weekend, and Drake asked me if I wanted to come up with him to XWE when it was both Billy and Duncan running the show, and I did, and Billy ended up booking me. I had known Billy a little bit before then from, just being in the same locker rooms together. And so it was nice to have a home away from home. And when XWE branched off and became HCW as well, I went along with it because it was Billy. Billy is, in a way, he's like my wrestling dad. I mean, Drake's my wrestling dad, but like Billy's his wrestling dad. So is he like my wrestling grandpa or something like that? I don't. I think I'm just calling Billy old. I'm just calling Billy old. That's all.
I was gonna say, let's get that clipped, man. I like it. I don't hate it.
Speaking of Billy being old, he must have dementia because I won the #1 contender match for the Independent Championship.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
And now on Saturday, Kane Carter's fucking Corbin Blue looking ass is wrestling Chance Carter for the Independence Championship. And I Billy, what'd I do? Do I owe you money? What happened, man? This is terrible. How are you gonna do this to your boy? Anywho,
I think somebody asked that question on Facebook, and he replied. I can't remember exactly what he replied with, but it sounded like
he said I have a different booking that day. I don't know what he's talking about. Silly. I didn't take a different booking.
I love it. I didn't even read that, but that makes that all the much better.
Yeah, but I only took that booking after he didn't book me for sure.
So you debuted in Fountain City with Stormy Renee as a new tag team called OnlyFriends. Let's talk about your history with Stormy. Kind of where did you guys meet? How does your history go back with her, and then kind of what brought OnlyFriends to fruition, and talk about that a little bit.
The history goes way back. I mean, honestly, she started around the same time I did, about 5 or 6 years ago. She obviously got trained at the Bears Den with Billy. I got trained by Drake down here in Oklahoma. So, with but Drake and Billy's connection, it kind of seemed inevitable that we would meet each other eventually. And we did. We met, I want to say, probably in the first year of both of our trainings / career, because Drake had been doing his matches with her in Kansas and stuff like that. So I got to see some of those, and we hit it off pretty well. We got pretty close, and then all of our friends started being the same kind of friend group. Like I was in the Rebel Hearts for a brief period of time, and she's obviously BFFs with them too. And I ended up becoming Justin Gray's one of his groomsmen, and so I'm really close with all the same people. And it kind of just it fell into place. Me and Stormy are really close, and it's always been that way. OnlyFriends came about because we had been talking about it for probably like 2 years now, just about, like, what if we tag teamed, like, what would that be like? How fun would that be? And we had never really figured out what exactly we would do, what we would call ourselves, or anything like that. It was just like a haha, that would be cool type conversation that was just in passing, and we never thought about it again. But then I contact Chase, and I was like, hey bro, who runs Fountain City Pro? Not realizing it was him. And so it kind of went off from there. Unfortunately, Shylen got hurt, and I guess shout out Shylen for OnlyFriends existing. Without your ACL tearing, we wouldn't exist. And honestly, we should probably be giving you royalties, but like, you're gonna have to fucking fight me for that. But no, at that point, I mean, you asked me if I wanted to tag with Stormy, and it kind of seemed like a cosmic answer for myself. It's like, if we don't pull the trigger right now on this, like, we may never get the chance again. So I said, absolutely, yes, let's do this. And I believe I texted Chase back like a day later, and I was like, dude, I got the name, the gears designed, like I figured it out. Like it was like a Jimmy Neutron brain blast. I was like, this is phenomenal. This is perfect. Me and her had always talked about how, you know, a lot of intergender tag teams on the independent scene, or even in in TV wrestling, it's always a couple, or it's like a brother sister, or it's like a pairing that everybody thinks is like wacky because one's a heel and one's a face. And we were like, how can we make it different? And I get there's mixed tag teams that are just friends, but like, is there mixed tag teams that are just like die hard friends, like to the bone, kind of like, you know, like I guess they're broken up now, like Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor, just some folks like that. Like they're also a big inspiration for our tag team. Like obviously the biggest inspiration is probably Bussy. They kind of like outlined the whole intergender tag game, but I love both of those teams, and that was a huge inspiration for the both of us.
Yeah. When I asked you, and I'll be honest with you, I thought you were just blowing smoke up my ass when you were like, oh no, man. Cause like, as soon as I asked you, you were like, dude, me and Stormy have wanted to do this for a very long time. I was like, yeah, sure. Okay, cool. And then like literally less than 24 hours later, you're like, so here's our inspiration. It's based off of Team Bussy, and here's our name, and here's this, and this. And then like a day or two later, you're like, here's our logo. We want our gear to be like, you had these photoshopped images of you and Stormy where you changed the gear to like blue and orange. And I was like, yo, like he was serious. Like they really wanted to do this.
Yes, man. We were dead serious, and it didn't take much time at all. Like my gear designer, he's one of my closest friends, and he was like, this is probably the greatest fucking idea I've ever heard in my life. I will get on this stat. And he got me back everything in like a day. So it was good timing.
Yeah. You know, and we try not to lean too much into like the Fountain City Pro thing. Or we are trying not to. I mean, it's kind of hard, like when people know that we are.
Hey man, baby.
Yeah. You know, but I'll tell you what's really cool for me, Logan, is, you know, my thing, you know, obviously the goal is to provide more wrestling in my area. That was the goal of Fountain City. The other thing I really wanted to do is to like, it sucks because like, I believe the talent we have in the Midwest is just as good as the talent on the East Coast, you know, and all those guys on the East Coast always get like all the big time gigs. Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I wanted to help do something about that. And in the process of that, I also wanted to give our talent, like, so you guys don't have to drive 10 hours one way to go work. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think, sorry, Josh, I got distracted by that. No,
hang on.
Good. No, so my thing, Logan, is to give you guys that opportunity to do something you guys wanted to do.
Yeah.
So, and that was what was really cool to me. And then not just that, in our first two shows, not even our first two shows, our first show, our crowd loves you.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
that was a surprise too, because I've never been that like north. Like I've never wrestled that north. I like most north I've ever wrestled was probably like Hutch or Salina, and you know, I've never been to Kansas City. I've never even been to Missouri, and it was crazy.
Yeah, you know, and like just the way you know, the name, the idea, you know, and your guys's, you know, promos that you guys did, and working how you guys worked. It was just, it's awesome to share that moment, to be like, hey, like I think Logan and Stormy would be good together. Hey, we think we'll be good together. And then you go out there, and like I said, they loved you. So
yeah, no, it's always good to have like basically a brain baby come to life and do good. The first show was a big what if. Can we really tag together? And it's like we had a big test. We had Laney Luck and GPA, and they're two of the biggest stars here in the Midwest, and they're one of the best intergender tag teams. And so we obviously had a lot on our plate. And, loss put aside, I felt like we proved that we at least belonged there as a tag team and that the crowd had a reason to be excited for us. But that second show that we just had, I feel like, I don't know, like I had way more butterflies. And I was like, me and Stormy talked about it. We were way more nervous for that one because that was okay, was that just a fluke? Was that just they wanted to see it for the one time kind of thing? And it wasn't a fluke, I feel like they were arguably even louder the second match. And
I agree. I agree.
it was a lot of fun. You can see a few times on my face and in the Laney and GPA match, and even the match we just had with Main Attraction, you can see it on my face where I'm just like, because we have a room full of 200 to 300 people chanting for OnlyFriends, and it's like when you spend a majority of your career being an asshole, being a bad guy, having that switch up is so delightful. It's so.
Yeah. No, we like I said, when you asked and when you introduced it, I loved it, and we hyped it up in all of our meetings going up to it. We're like, man, I this could be something really cool. Especially because Kansas City loves intergender tag team and they don't get to see it anymore. And just your guys' charisma together. And so, like I said, it was awesome to watch you guys come out the curtain and then leave that match against Laney and GPA. And it was like, I think they really like this. And then you're right, that second show where it was like, I know they really like this now. So that was awesome.
Yeah. So, Logan, as we kind of wind this thing down a little bit, why don't you tell everybody, if you've got it on the top of your head or a calendar near you, let us know where we can see you wrestle over the next couple of weeks, where you're booked.
So this Saturday, I'm at Empire Pro, not Heartland Championship Wrestling. I will continue to blame Billy for that, even though I am at fault. But I'm going to be wrestling at Empire Pro this Saturday, and thankfully I don't have another show this weekend. That's so crazy. I have one show, an hour from my house, and then I get to go home. That's so delightful because last weekend with y'all, I drove 17 hours. Fuck that. Anyways, for the rest of the month, I have Core Professional Wrestling on May 31st. I'm in Arkansas, Texarkana, May 25th. I'm going to be wrestling DL Hartley. That's going to be a lot of fun. I've been looking forward to wrestling him for a long time now. And then, God, I feel like I do. Oh, I'm going to Alabama on May 26th. I don't think I'm wrestling, but they're going to see my pretty face, and then they're going to see the cool gear, and then they're going to be like, oh my God, are you Logan Knight? And then they're going to book me. You know how that goes. No, I'm kidding. I hope I get to wrestle in Alabama. That'd be a lot of fun. I'm going to meet a lot of internet friends and other wrestlers I've met from across the country from, since I've come out and since I've come onto X and since I debuted on the QWI, I've gotten a lot more presence on X, and I've learned about a lot more LGBT wrestlers. I'm going to meet a lot of them in Alabama that Sunday, so I'm very much looking forward to that. I would say besides that, the thing I'm looking forward to the most, guys, is that next Fountain City Pro show, because that is going to be a hot, passionate, freedom-inducing, patriotic American banger. It's going to be great.
Would you say it could possibly rule ass?
It's going to rule a little bit, possibly a lot of ass. You never know.
Cool. Sorry. I'm gonna get yelled at by Josh later for that one.
Dean,
all right, sir.
Dean Houston says Shooter Charlotte and someone will have to challenge you and a partner next January.
She has a certain particular boyfriend that's a professional wrestler, so I haven't gotten to lock up with him yet. I would be more than willing to wrestle Shylin and undisclosed wrestler boyfriend.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be great. Stormy and Logan versus Atlas Armstrong and Shooter Shylin.
Team Armstrong.
Yep. Team
Oh,
Armstrong.
should they call Team Leg Strong?
Oh, he doesn't have any legs.
No, but she messed hers up.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Cushy. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Where else?
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I like it a lot better than Team Double Stuff.
Yeah, double stuffed. Oh my god,
bro! The innuendos that you would put in your posts on Twitter were just absolute. I would die reading them every single time. Logan, tell everybody where they can find you on all social medias.
You can find me at Logan Knight Pro on pretty much everything. I am probably the most famous Logan Knight. I don't want to say I am quite yet because I'm unsure, but I probably am. So, odds are you'll find me. I have a TikTok. I post clips on there, but I'm at Logan Knight 26 on that. So yeah, follow me on all those goodies. I post like pretty much every day. I got a vlog and I post matches pretty much weekly or every other week on my YouTube. So the content's never not there. You can find me pretty easily. However, I'm not guaranteeing any quality. So don't be mad with what you see. That's on you, brother.
Logan, little final, last final thing before we get you out of here. We do it with everybody, as you saw in the intro. We'll bring you center screen, full screen, and just have you say, "This is the Spotlight, Logan Knight," and you're watching the I-70 hot tag. Cool?
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. You can start when you get center screen.
What's up, guys? I'm the Spotlight, Logan Knight, and you are watching the brightest podcast in the world for professional wrestling, the I-70 hot tag.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Fantastic.
Logan, pleasure as always, sir. I will see you at an HCW show because I'm sure there will be multiple that I go to before the next Fountain City show. But yes, sir, I will definitely catch you around.
All right, guys. Thank you for having me on, and you guys have a blast with the rest of your night.
We'll do.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. All right. Spotlight, Logan Knight. That was a super long interview. I like it.
That was a great interview, man. Right at an hour. Great.
Yes.
Great conversation.
Yes. Do we do an intermission?
I have nothing unless we want to play the 3-minute video. So if you want to do that, take a quick intermission.
No. Let's go ahead and get in there. Again, thank you to Logan Knight for taking time to do that. We had a lot of fun last week, and I had an opportunity where I was like, or not an opportunity. I think I just got a stick up my ass where I was like, you know what? I think we're gonna do another hot tag episode this week. So
it was great.
Yeah, ask Josh. I literally told him on Tuesday. I was like, hey, I'm gonna ask Logan Knight if he wants to do the hot tag.
That may be how we do it from here on out, man. We used to have 4 or 5 guests planned for a month. We might just spur of the moment and have an interview randomly. So keep an eye out.
Chase just randomly messaged somebody and was like, hey.
You kick us off with I think we're gonna go into bombs over ball and kind of talk about how that finished. You go ahead and kick us off for a second, and I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. No, guys, we're gonna talk about Friday's bombs over ball. We'll kind of get into that. Give me 1 second here. We're supposed to have a maybe not. I thought we were supposed to have a video. We don't. That's all right. But we're gonna talk about bombs over ball. It was a great event, guys. I really hate this camera angle. 1 sec here. Boom, there we go. I really hate this camera angle. As Kai says, bombs over ball was so good. I'll be honest with you guys. I was a little worried about the turnout. just because, and this is kind of pulling a lot of curtain back here for you guys, but on Light It Up in March, we had 97% of our sales done online. And we only had 5-7 walk-up tickets that night. And if you could stop pushing buttons when I push buttons, I would appreciate that. Anyways, so we only had 5 or 7 walk-ups at Light It Up. So, basing off of the forecast of what it would look like, I thought the majority of people would buy tickets online for Bombs Over Ball. That was not the case. Yes, the majority of them were sold online, but we had 20 times the walk-up
significantly amount of more Bombs Over Ball.
Not 20, but four times the walk-up that we had for Light It Up. So it was a little nervous that day. So I wasn't sure how the show would do, but Kansas City showed up and supported. And we had another great showing, another packed house, and the card, not to brag or to pat my own back, the card went fantastic. So absolutely. And shout out to the gentlemen who help time out those matches and position those matches on the card, because that was a huge help as well. So
agreed.
That I didn't even get into the pre-show match. I was just kind of
no, you're good.
It also says play video package.
We don't have a video package. If you want to see that, you can go check it out on our TikTok page. It's just a bunch of videos, or I'm sorry, a bunch of pictures from Bombs Over Ball from Luna Pics. You're also going to get a lot more, probably the early of next week, possibly this weekend, from Jordan Turner Photography. They're gonna have our official Bombs Over Ball photo packages there, so you'll be able to see a lot of great shots there. So let's start breaking this thing down. I think we're gonna, as we do on every hot tag episode when we would break down an event, we're going to do the same thing here. We've got a pre-show match of 4 young hungry wrestlers in the Kansas City area, and we already talked about one of them tonight.
Are you familiar? Are you familiar with those 4?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Very. They're very, like I said, hungry.
You would think that you would know who it is if they're booked in your promotion, right?
Absolutely. You'd think, right?
You'd think.
The natural Atlas Armstrong, we already talked about him earlier,
Yes.
was in a 4-way and against Kenny Kingston, Clay Huna, and the Luminary. Chase, take it away, sir.
So Mr. Armstrong and then Kenny Kingston and Clay Huna, they wrestle with our friends over at KCXW. So Kansas City should be fairly familiar, pretty familiar, mostly familiar with those 3. The Luminary, they are actually from the St. Louis scene, so wanted to give them an opportunity to work in front of the Kansas City crowd. So like I said, it worked out. It was a pretty good dynamic. Like I said, 3 of those individuals are very, very familiar with each other. While one isn't, but it still worked out. So, and the natural Atlas Armstrong picked up the dub. So
yes, he did. And a great pre-show match. Got the crowd hot, ready for some action, because the opener of Bombs Over Ball was the first Fountain City Pro tournament match, which was billed as Austin Reddick versus second to none Kenny Alfonso. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's not how it played out.
No, it's not. Dick Richards came through to everybody's surprise and let everybody know that Kenny Alfonso, even though he lives in and around the Olathe, Kansas area, for whatever reason, was having car troubles and couldn't make it to the event. And Dickie just happened to have his replacement there. And it was the illustrious one, Ray Leon, who lost to Kenny Alfonso at Light It Up. So interesting to see. And he went one-on-one with Austin Reddick, and what a match to open the show, man. What a match. And two guys, it was crazy. Austin mentioned he had never worked Ray one-on-one. And to watch them, they both had such great chemistry. They told a great story, and there's two important spots on the card, right? There's several important spots, but I mean, arguably the two most important is your opener and your closer, right? Right. Fountain City Pro has had Ray Leon in the opener 2 times now. And it has set the tone, and it has kept that crowd hot from the beginning to the very end. Ray Leon may be the opener for Fountain City Pro for the rest of his career with Fountain City Pro. Because like I said, I credit the success of both of those shows to how that show opened. And our guy Ray Leon opened the show 2 times, and like I said, it's been magic. So that might be.
I was going to say
it might be his permanent spot.
Yeah, you talked about, we'll talk about it later when we get to the end about how important the beginning and the end are. We're going to have the same theme when we get to the end, because that also happened as well. But we'll move on. Talking about Ray Leon, though, before we get to the next match, what if we see a illustrious Ray Leon versus illustrious Juan Ray Leon?
That'll never happen.
Okay.
That'll never happen. The illustrious Juan or Ray Leon sorry.
No, it was the illustrious Juan Ray Leon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you guys go follow Ray Leon,
I tried to book him, but his asking fee is way too high. We can't afford it. So.
Yeah.
Way too high.
I can see why.
So, yep, absolutely.
So the next match was are these in order?
Yeah.
I don't know. So we had the guys invitational, was 6 wrestlers from around the area, around the Midwest. We had Ashlyn Alexander, who we have seen quite often in the St. Louis scene. Also in the St. Louis scene, Nixie XS. We saw her last event with the O'Neill brothers. We've seen Jackson King making his, I'm not sure if this was his Kansas City debut, but we've seen him a lot up in the Iowa, Nebraska scene up north. Ethan Everhart, same thing. A lot of work up in the Iowa area for Rugged Pro.
Ethan wrestled a couple of times for Journey.
Ethan did? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And then
so he was no stranger to the guys battle royal. So
Gotcha. So Shaza McKenzie, the international Shaza McKenzie, traveled over to Kansas City, as well as Kansas City's own Zach Abstract, in this 6-person guys scramble. And we kind of already are guys invitational. We've already kind of talked about it a little bit. You mentioned the spot. Very fun. I love these invitational matches. The elimination style is top notch. I love the way Fountain City does it with these invitationals, but the spot that's been talked about and pictured all over social media was when Zach dumped that bag of guys. Well, what was that? Guys,
potato chips.
I know.
Barbecue.
Oh, it's barbecue. Okay, so he dumped the barbecue chips in the center of the ring to slam Shaza, and well, she reversed it and backdropped him right onto the the bear chips in the middle of the ring. So super entertaining, man. The crowd loved it, and I did too. So, and Shaza defeated at the very end Zach Abstract to pick up the win for the Invitational.
Yes. The Kai says Nixie XS comes out to Rena Soyama. I don't. She's my favorite now. Nixie XS has quite the and it's crazy too because she talked about like our crowd and stuff. And there's 2 or 3 people that came up to me and were like, oh, Nixie XS is my favorite, or I really, really like Nixie XS. And I was like, man, I know she wrestles in Trailblazer, which kind of runs in the Kansas City area. And New Breed. I mean,
she wrestles
would
New
you
Breed.
consider would you consider New Breed kind of our Kansas City area, or would you consider that more the St. Louis area, or somewhere in between?
I'd say in between. That they kind of fall into that. I mean, Tri-States is closer to us just because they run in St. Joe. But
did she work Tri-States?
I don't remember. I don't think she has.
She did.
She has. I might have missed it, but it's a lot of New Breed. It's a lot of St. Louis promotions, and she like you said, Trailblazer, and but yeah, I heard nothing but great things to say about her from the fans about
Yeah. It's just crazy because, like I said, she doesn't wrestle in this area. But I had when you have multiple people come up to you and say, "Hey, like we really like so and so," and they're not from that area. I mean, that's cool, man. The next match, which our guest from earlier, Logan Knight and his tag team partner Stormy Renee, OnlyFriends, defeated the main attraction. The realists Calvin Aldridge and Tobias Storm. Main attraction or double stuffed?
Or double stuffed. Team double stuffed. At least that's if you asked Tobias Storm, it's
Tobias. If you ask Calvin Aldridge, he'll tell you that's not their name.
Correct. Correct.
Do we want to talk about the incident that happened after the match?
I mean, you went in depth with your thoughts on the last show last week, so yeah. I mean that probably caused what happened, but we can. I mean, go ahead. I mean,
well, no. Let's not take anything away here. OnlyFriends got their first victory against the main attraction, Team Double Stuffed, and after the match, there was 2 individuals that were not invited or asked to come to the show that inserted themselves and decided to attack the 2 gentlemen, Calvin Aldridge and Tobias Storm, and they were promptly removed from the building. So yeah, I guess we'll see where it goes from there.
Yeah, we're gonna get a never mind. You've seen it on social media.
Yeah.
We need it. You owe us a monitor. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So, that's all I'm going to say. But no, like you said, not taking anything away from that match. I mean, these 2 great tag teams. We've talked many times on this hot tag about how great we think Tobias Storm is, and how great we think Calvin Aldridge is. Very talented as a team. They've done great things in XWE and to showcase it here in Kansas City. They've done it a couple times, I believe, in KCXW. They can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that they've done a few tag matches over there as well. And then, again, the first win of OnlyFriends happened just a few days ago, last Friday. So pretty cool to see. And I'm excited to see more from both of those teams in the future, anywhere around our area, not just Fountain City. So
absolutely.
Next up, man, this one was super fun. Absolutely loved this match. Not that I didn't love every single one of these, but this match was very entertaining. And that was our second tournament match featuring the Regent. I said that right this time. Camaro Jackson taking on Heidi Howitzer. And it started off with a chop fest. and you don't. When you're going one-on-one in the chop fest with Camaro Jackson, that's a brave individual. And Heidi,
it's a brave individual to go to one with Heidi Howitzer too. So
you're right. Nothing to away from Heidi. You're right. And they both gave it their all and slapped the ever-loving shit out of each other at the beginning of that match. And after that was done, they beat the hell out of each other. They were out of the ring. They were getting into the crowd, and it wasn't weapons used, but it was just an entertaining match for the whole crowd that was there. And so we had a lot of fun, man. It was a great match. I was there close up to that match for the majority of it, so I got to see it kind of up close. It was crowd loved it. Crowd ate it up, and we had Ray Leon join Luke Langley as the first two to advance, and then Camaro Jackson defeated Heidi Howitzer, and he joined. So now we have three. The fourth comes later as we talk about it here at the main event. But what'd you think about this Heidi Camaro match?
I loved it, man. It was everything I hoped it would be. It was entertaining. There was two fantastic workers in Heidi and Camaro, doing what they do best. And then you add the size factor to it, and that big fight feel. It worked, man. And you had two entertaining individuals. Like I said, they knew how to work the crowd, and it was awesome. So, like I said, it was everything I had hoped it would be.
Yep. All right, go ahead, take on the next one.
Yeah, the next match was supposed to be Anaya and his brother Hoodie Howlett, and they were supposed to take on the O'Neill brothers. Obviously, the big story, Anaya turning his back on Hoodie. And then we had the video a couple of days before the event where it looked like Anaya attacked Hoodie. Anaya claimed he didn't. At the event, he brought out Micah for Micah to have this big return to the ring after almost 2 years away. It was fantastic. They were meshing well together. They were working just as good, if dare I say, just as good as Hoodie and Anaya worked together for Micah and Anaya. And right when Micah was about to make the hot tag, Anaya decided that he was going to skip out. And what stood out to me was Anaya taking that shirt that said the Howletts and ripping it down the middle and revealing his wild card Anaya shirt, which suits his name very well, the Wild Card. So Micah was able to still come away with the victory somehow, some way. And not to hype too much on Anaya and Hoodie and everything. But man, the welcome that Micah got, I loved it. It was everything I'd hoped it was. I wanted people to show Micah that they remember him, and people still love Mighty Micah. So, and that's exactly what happened. So it was awesome.
Yeah, it was cool to hear the crowd react when Anaya brought him out, and we haven't seen him.
And when he got the 3 count,
that was a huge pop as well. And like I said, we haven't seen him since was that Journey Pro's final event?
Yeah,
had he wrestled, because he got injured there, and I don't think he ever actually came back.
He might have worked a CSW show after that.
Yeah, Brian says CSW. So I think you're right. I think
he worked one more
22, and then I think he wrestled like February in CSW.
Yep.
He might have wrestled this one right here. when the levy breaks. February
That might have been
25th.
actually.
That might have been his last match.
It was probably Dallas Cade versus Mighty Micah.
No, Brian. 4 Horsemen was August of 22.
Jeez, that was
Anyway,
a long time ago.
he's going way back.
Yeah.
Anyway, so next match we've got a little grudge match kind of built up. If you guys remember, in March, Luke Langley won the first ever Invitational, then dubbed the Fountain City Invitational, and the winner of that match received a first round bye in our tournament. That winner was Luke Langley, and he aligned himself with Greg Jovi. While Jovi was talking on the microphone, Scott Tyler came out and rescued everybody and kicked the microphone out of Jovi's hand. That then turned into Jovi coming out and virtually costing Scott Tyler the invitational win and aligning himself with Luke Langley. Fast forward to May, Bombs Over Ball. That grudge match was Luke Langley with Greg Jovi taking on Scott Tyler, the Giant Slayer. And again, as non-tournament match, there's no implications to this match. Phenomenal match. My sister was in attendance, and I saw this live, but it was cool that she got this moment and we were able to repost it. But the what was it? It was a suplex turned into a hurricane head scissors takeover. It was phenomenal. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. It's on our socials. But great athletic match of 2 phenomenal Kansas City based wrestlers, and Luke Langley picked up the victory due to some shenanigans by our friend, lack thereof, Greg Jovi, as he always does with his clients.
He's been on the show twice. So
yeah. It was a great match. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Love both of those guys, and they tore it down. So
absolutely.
Next month we'll see them semifinals matches, man. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Yes. Main event, another tournament match. All Steel Jay Fowler, Gary F&J, and Anakin Murphy. And man, what a main event. What a main event.
Yeah.
All Steel Jay Fowler, with Captain Midnight Guthrie, got him going. Not that they had slowed down, but they both got the crowd really into it. And Gary J, bringing back everybody surrounding the ring and the ring pound to Kansas City. It's been so long. It was Journey. Obviously, it wasn't Journey's last show because we had a barricade. But it might have been the baseball field show before that. I know Gary wrestled at that one, but it was awesome to see that, the ring pound. And then Anakin Murphy, man. It was that was such a cool moment. One of the things that I don't feel like got played enough was Anakin's opportunity with his theme music in the crowd. And if you've ever been to a St. Louis Anarchy event and been involved in the Anarchy experience, Anakin Murphy's entrance along with Gary J's is it's iconic. And so it's very awesome to see our crowd at Fountain City getting into that. So, and what can you not say about this match? You have 3 extremely talented individuals. Gary J, who's been a vet, or who is a vet in this business now. They told a great story. Phenomenal. So
they did, and you said it at the top how important the opener and the closing matches are. Not saying anything, taking anything away from any of the other matches, but you said Ray Leon was in 2 straight opening matches. All Steel Jay Fowler was in 2 straight main events. and
Agreed.
And you throw in, he's absolutely destroyed the Iowa-Nebraska market. And you've got Gary J and Anakin Murphy who are doing great things, doing just as well in the St. Louis, clashing here in Kansas City. And what a way to end the show. Jay Fowler joins Luke Langley, Camaro Jackson, and Ray Leon in the finals. They will in the semifinals, I guess you could say. And to end that match, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, Gary and Anakin were in the ring as Fowler left celebrating, and Anakin was extending a handshake to Gary to close out the show, and Gary fucking Jay decided, you know what, it's not worth it. Turned around and walked off and left him in the ring, and did not oblige in the handshake. So some animosity
Interesting to
there.
see, man.
Yeah.
Interesting to see. That was it, man.
Bombs over ball. Two
Bombs
down.
over ball.
Two down.
Yep.
So,
like I said, we may not cover a whole lot of the other wrestling promotions in the area, but we still want to highlight some of the ones coming up. Josh, why don't you tell everybody some of the shows locally that they can catch in the next few weeks?
we're still living in the best independent scene in the country, in my opinion. And we're going to show it to you now. Not only do we've got Heartland Championship Wrestling Devastation, which we talked about earlier in Wichita. We're going to see Mindy Grace against Heidi Howitzer. But also on May 18th in Macon, Missouri, New Breed Wrestling. They got a few great matches there. One of the ones I wanted to highlight was a television title match. We talked about him 3 times now on the damn show. Atlas Armstrong is going to have his shot at the TV title against Frodo the Ghost. 1 week later, Glory Pro Live. Man, I had all these. I didn't put any of the graphics up. But anyway, Glory Pro Live is happening in St. Louis at the South Broadway Athletic Club, I believe is this event. They've got a great talent. Always put on great shows for Glory Pro. May 31st. And man, what do we got going on May 31st? Because I might need to be hopping in a car going to St. Louis. Because
we don't have anything going on May 31st.
Well, you may not. I was looking at like my personal calendar.
Yeah.
St. Louis Anarchy Forever. And we are going to see Billy Starks versus Matt Fitchett. And that alone, I don't care what else is on that card. That match alone is worth the drive to go see.
Matt Fitchett's promos are fucking worth the drive.
100,000%. Yeah. 1,000%.
Yeah, like everybody knows that I have mad love for
what?
Golf for 199er, golf for 199er.
All right, I hear you. I don't see. Oh, there you go. You unfroze.
Technical difficulties.
Yes, and you're gone. Anyway, that
technical difficulties.
Yes, you're back.
Okay. Anyways, like I said, anybody who knows me knows that I absolutely love me some St. Louis Anarchy.
Yeah.
And love what they're doing. Never have a complaint about anything that they do. But bro, you could just fucking sell tickets on Matt Fitchett promos. That's it. Like
yeah.
I completely forgot he was facing 3 other people at the last show. Really fucking good people too. Like it wasn't like they were some guy, they were just some random people. Like he was in the ring with Laney Luck and Shaza McKenzie and shit. Like
yeah.
And his promo alone, like I was like, I want to go watch that show.
Yeah.
So, God, dude, how many fucking YouTube files can you make?
How many what?
How many YouTube profiles can you make, bro?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Good old Matty. Anyway, let's finish this out. June 8th, Mid-States Wrestling, Harrison, Arkansas. June 22nd, WrestleMax STL. Always the hard way. I know at some point in time we're going to probably get us in between there. We're going to get another CSW event. I know they were supposed to run this weekend. They're not running this weekend. Mid-States Wrestling and SICW is having a Legends of Memphis Fan Fest. I actually almost forgot. Also this weekend, SICW Fan Fest 2 is happening. So if you can make it out to St. Louis, go check that out. But Mid-States and SICW are doing another Fan Fest together in Harrison. It might be Harrison. I don't think they're doing it in Tennessee. But Legends of Memphis, Jerry Lawler is going to be there, and a couple others. July 12th, Fountain City Pro, Olathe, Kansas. July 20th, KCXW Extreme Freedom, and all the way out to July 28th. If you're in Western Kansas, Dodge City, go support our friends at Skill, Southwest Kansas Independent Lucha Libre at Trails End. Valencia y Paz and our good friend, the illustrious Juan Ray Leon.
Yes, absolutely.
God, that was a lot.
That was.
Haven't read off that in a while.
I was like, damn, you went all the way into July. I thought you were going to stop at like May or something. Yeah. Future podcast shows on February 15th. We're going to have Nick CXS, guys.
Yeah.
No. That was our February 15th guest.
We got Jake the Snake Roberts coming up.
We do. June 27th
7th or 8th, whatever Thursday is the last Thursday of June.
Yes.
So 27th.
27th. Yep. So June 27th, we'll have WWE Hall of Famer, Master of the DDT, Jake the Snake Roberts. It's gonna be fucking dope. So.
Yep.
All right. That's all I have, sir.
That's all I got. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Look at that. We got some strong numbers over there on the Twitterverse.
I know, man.
Appreciate you all tuning in. If you guys watch this
over there,
yeah, I was gonna say, if you like us, you like you want to comment and partake in the conversation, you can head over to YouTube and or Facebook when we go live, and you can kind of comment and, like I said, talk while we're live. Otherwise, you're gonna sit and listen and watch. We don't care. We love it. We love you either way.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chase. This is Josh, the real Josh Elliott. This has been episode 85 of the I-70 Hot Tag, and we will catch you next time.
Yes, we will.